Yes, Senator Edwin Sifuna, what is your point of order?
Speaker, I wanted to seek clarification on whether the other CSs have given any time indication of when we can expect them to be here.
That's why I sent Senator Sifuna that none of the CSs has indicated. Through communication. This from who?
From Treasury.
As we are discussing this is a letter from the CS Treasury requesting for rescheduling or appearance before the Senate. When is this? Honorable Senators, the CS for Treasury and Economic Planning, the CS Honorable CP John Mbadi Ngongo, his letter has just arrived, and he has said that the reason is that he is engaged in a critical meeting at the State House that requires his presence and attention. And also he has not indicated when he will be appearing. He has just said, I look forward to engaging your esteemed House at a later date. That is the letter. And you know, I'm also very truthful, so I've read the content as it is. So I want to give a few senators maybe to interact with this communication. Yes, Senators Funa, continue and finish up.
Honorable Chair, in fact, that practice is something that you must not allow. There is no way a cabinet secretary can send a letter to you seated in the chair this morning. I am very shocked because you see, Honorable Chair, we woke up very early in the morning to come and attend this session. The question that I was supposed to put to CS Mbadi is a question that is over a year old. It has taken him less than 2 weeks to become a proper Kenya Kwanza cabinet secretary who has no respect for this House. Honorable Chair, we cannot allow this because we want to engage with these CSs. He cannot tell us, and I have heard in this House before, people saying that when Kibaki was president, if there was a matter before Parliament and another one before State House, the precedent was that you come and attend to the matters in the House first. I want to tell John Mbadi that this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable, totally unacceptable, and he has to show respect for this House. And in fact, it is worse that he was a member of Parliament. If he had just been plucked from the wilderness, like some of the other people I see, maybe we would excuse him. But he is a member of Parliament. He has even finished 2 weeks. Honorable Chair, this is unacceptable. Respect for this House, and as of yesterday, there was already communication that he had confirmed he was going to come. When these State House meetings just spring up on people like it is a surprise party. Honorable Chair, this is unacceptable. At the very minimum, he should have written yesterday and said he was not going to be able to make it. We have also other business to attend. Honorable John Mbadi must be called to order. This is not the John Mbadi I knew. I don't know what they have done to him. He used to respect Parliament.
Sorry, actually, I thought our visitors are not allowed to any. I want to give our guests just 10 minutes, then we can do housekeeping. I have directed that our visitors here, the CS for Labor and Social Protection and his team, to give this House 15 minutes to interact with this communication. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I keep telling my friend Sifuna that if he wants to become a good legislator, he must not conflate issues. The point that he's raising is something that all of us on this side agree with. I have been on this floor severally. coming down heavily against cabinet ministers when they fail to appear before this House. But when he wants to leave it on record and say that John Mbadi has become a proper Kenya Kwanza minister who has no respect for parliament, I cannot allow him to do that, Mr. Speaker, because he's disparaging a cabinet, Mr. Speaker, and their ministers, while he's saying that there's a cabinet minister seated here, waiting to respond to questions, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order, Mr. Speaker, for Senator Edwin Sifuna to claim that a proper Kenya Kwanza minister has no regard for parliament? Can he table any fact, Mr. Speaker, to support his allegations, Mr. Speaker? Because otherwise, you reduce a very valid point to a partisan debate that is useless. We had a very valid conversation that we would have had about the presence or otherwise of ministers. But now he wants to distract us with sideshows, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, let us not be emotional on this matter. Actually, this is a matter concerning the whole House. This is a bipartisan issue. So, Senator Sifuna, maybe you can kill your record so that we can be able to move nicely, Honorable Senator Sifuna. No, I've asked him to clarify that bit so that...
You don't want me to speak? Honorable Speaker, I don't know what other evidence the majority leader would want tabled of disrespect of this House other than the letter that has been brought to you while you are seated in the chair. And the fact that he admits that we have engaged on this issue repeatedly, it is indicative of a tradition within the Kenya Kwanza government that they disrespect this House all the time. We have dealt with this issue more than enough times, Honorable Speaker, and the majority leader cannot gag me. You cannot gag me, Honorable Cheruyot. The disrespect is in that letter that has been brought this morning. We woke up here to do this job. Where is Mbadi? You can't defend Mbadi.
Have your seat, Senator Sifuna. Senator Enoch.
You know, Mr. Speaker, there are things you are saying that are difficult to implement. When you say people should not be emotional about this matter, it's difficult not to be emotional about what we have just witnessed. It is difficult, Mr. Speaker, to deal with a fact which is on record that a cabinet secretary expected to appear before a House of Parliament is writing to the Speaker while the session is on to say he cannot appear. And the reason given is in State House. Mr. Speaker, I will say two things and try to be not too emotional about it. One, Article 132 of the Constitution, functions of the President. The President is accountable to Parliament, the President himself, to Parliament. Article 153 of the Constitution, the Cabinet is accountable to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, those two articles read together place the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya at such a position that when you are required to appear before either a committee of Parliament or a plenary sitting of Parliament, then everything else must stop. Mr. Speaker, this is just plain reading of the law. And you know, when now I see my brother, my very good friend, the Senator of Kericho, who is also the majority leader, getting emotional and saying that Senator Sifuna should be taught a lesson. Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering, between Senator Sifuna and the CS for Treasury, who needs to be taught certain lessons? Mr. Speaker, just allow me to finish. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. In fact, Mr. Speaker, this is so serious. And you know what? Let us test our own powers and privileges as parliament. Let us put that to test. Mr. Speaker, you can order the sergeant at arms or the Inspector General of Police to present the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury here today, this morning. Mr. Speaker, you know, we cannot say that Parliament has been disregarded, and every time that we are disregarded, then we permit those people that disregard the Senate to continue doing their things and doing bad manners. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, Senator Riot, you should not feel bad when Senator Sifuna says that the CS Treasury is learning bad manners.
Point of order, just a minute.
Oh, Savannah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the sitting of the Senate Business Committee yesterday.
What is your point of order regarding what is...
No, I thought you were giving me an opportunity.
No.
To,
You are...
sorry, I thought you had concluded.
You are very experienced member.
I am very sorry.
When you raise a point of order, you are standing on a point of order.
Speaker, I
So
thought
what
you had
is your
concluded.
point of order?
I thought you... Then I'll have my time if
Senator Mbadi, conclude.
I'm able to catch your eye.
In less than
Mr.
a
Speaker,
minute.
you know, we defer to Senator Halwale, honestly. Surely, I was on my feet. And you're a leader in this house. Mr. Speaker, we are saying you should actually order Masengeli to bring the Treasury CS here in this house. Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I was saying that, you know, when Senator Sifuna says that the CS Treasury is learning bad manners and bad behavior from the Kenya Kwanza administration, that is a statement of fact. That this administration is very ill-mannered. That's what it is. This administration has refused many times to appear before this Senate. And we are saying the CS Treasury should not go and, when he was donated by ODM to go and join the government, Mr. Speaker, they send him there to go and...
Unnecessary anxiety. So
Mr. Speaker, I'm just finishing. If you
just,
bear with me 1 minute. Bear with me 1 minute, Mr. Speaker. Just bear with me 1 minute. These points of order, Mr. Speaker, they don't help.
To the point of
But
order.
what point of order on what now? What is out of order now?
There is majority.
Mr. Speaker, just allow me to finish. Just allow me to finish, Mr. Speaker. I have 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
There is majority, Linda.
You know, I was willing to allow these cheap shots to pass. But you have heard Senator Wambua repeatedly refer to me in his statement saying that I'm defending the indefensible. Yet, I pointed to Senator Sifuna that what better evidence do you need that Kenya Kwanza cabinet ministers respect this house, other than the fact that while he was making his complaint, there was a cabinet minister seated here. Therefore, you cannot generalize, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you can protect me from the hecklers, I can make my point, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senator.
But what you are doing is heckling. What better way? Mr. Speaker, it is not a statement of fact what Senator Wambua and Senator Edwin Sifuna are stating, that Kenya Kwanza ministers do not honor summons to this house. I have demonstrated that there is one in the house this morning, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, if one minister fails to appear, Mr. Speaker, if one minister fails to appear, is it a statement of fact, as Senator Wambua is stating, that Kenya Kwanza ministers do not honor summons to this house? I think this minister is... Almost every cabinet minister has come to this house more than 100 times, Mr. Speaker. You know, half the time, first of all, the minority side began by boycotting this exercise. They never used to appear. Probably that's why they don't know that ministers have been coming to this house.
Senator, let us make progress now. And my 15 minutes are over. Can you conclude in 30 seconds? You have 30 seconds, Senator Mbua.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying, and I'll conclude, that when the CS Treasury was donated by ODM to Kenya Kwanza, I listened to the Azimio leader saying that they have been donated to go and teach those people how to do things. They are not supposed to go there and learn bad manners. They are supposed to go there and teach good manners, Mr. Speaker. So it should be produced here in this house. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Joyce Korir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to raise...
Majority Leader Senator Sifuna.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to also register my dissatisfaction in terms of the response by the CS, because, Honorable Speaker, the reason why we came this morning was because of the questions that we had, which are affecting the members of the public, which we were expecting the minister to respond to this morning. Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether we have the prescribed timeline when the minister is supposed to respond, whether he is appearing or not, because it's so shocking that a letter is just being brought to the House during the time when the motions or when the questions are supposed to be responded to, Honorable Speaker. So it's really putting this House in a very awkward position, and I want to say that we need to set as a House. I don't know whether it exists, the time frame that they are supposed to respond. It's really so hurting. We came this morning expecting to get the answers. The very many questions that we have are being weighted by the Kenyans, and I want to say I'm one of the persons who is dissatisfied with that letter that has been written by the CS this morning. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Fatuma Nduro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to join my colleagues in contributing to this matter. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to say much because much has been said, but this matter is not about a political party. It's about an individual member of cabinet who should take up their responsibilities. Mr. Speaker, I really feel frustrated because there is nothing happening in this House as far as summons or invitation of this House is concerned. Mr. Speaker, we either pack and go home, or we take our matter seriously, because things are not actually going through the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to bring a statement on the floor of this House. We have a governor officiolo who has refused to appear before all the committees of the House. He has even taken a committee of the House to court, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have our mortuary that is not working for the last 1 year, and I brought a statement to the floor of this House earlier this year, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we should put our acts together. Otherwise, we have no business sitting in this House, and this matter must be taken seriously, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Senator Mudigi.
Asante Bwana Spika. Nataka kukosoa seneta wa Nairobi ambaye ni rafiki wangu. Mr. Mbadi sio wa Kenya Kwanza, ni sahihi tuko kwa serikali ya muungano. Kwa hiyo kupigia sisi kelele kusema yeye ni wa Kenya Kwanza, hiyo ni makosa kubwa sana. Ya pili, rafiki wangu, nataka nikwambie, wakati ulikuwa apitisha cabinet secretary wao kuingia hapa, wewe ulikuwa umetimua, ulikuwa nje, haukuwa unatuunga mkono. Ya mwisho, ningetaka kusema Mheshimiwa Mbadi amefanya makosa kukuja hapa, angekuja tumuulize maswali, kwa sababu unajua sisi kuko na ile pesa ambayo tunalipia wafanyikazi wetu, pesa ya usuru anja tulipa kwa kipindi ya miezi 3. County ya Embu saa hii wafanyikazi wote county ya Embu hakuna pesa ametuma hapo. Kwa hivyo angekuja hapo, hiyo ni ile swali tungeuliza. Na sio county ya Embu peke yake, ni county ya 47, na wakati tulikuwa naendelea alikuwa anasema hakuna pesa. Saa hii angekuja tumuulize swali. Kwa hivyo mimi naunga mkono Senator Mbadi aweze kuwa summoned akuja hapa ajibu maswali yake. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Muma Muyaka Kadri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to speak. I want to add my voice that it is not acceptable that the CS Treasury can elect to send a letter this morning. The questions we are asking the CS are questions that have been moved for over 6 months. We asked CS Ndongo these questions and he kept ducking them. And now the CS Mbadi takes them. We expect him to come here and resolve these things. Why do we have this session if asking questions should take a year to answer? All of you are celebrating this session, indicating that it will be useful. Why do we have it when it takes a year for a CS to actually respond? In this case, 2 CSs running away from responsibility. I think we need to take this seriously, and it is bad manners. You can call it whatever government you want to call it. It's your government. It is bad manners.
Last but not the least, Senator Murango, James.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker kwa kunipa hii nafasi kuchangia hili jambo. Ya kwanza niseme ya kwamba tunapokuja hapa, wakati tunakuja kukutana na mawaziri, tunakuanga na vitanda za kulala, tunakuanga na mahali ya kwenda. Hatukuangi tumekaa tu bila kazi ya kufanya. Wakati tumekuja hapa kufanya hilo jambo, na ukumbuke Mstahiki Speaker kwamba Jumatano zote hakuna kamati ambayo inakaa kukandili ama kuangalia jambo lingine lolote, kwa sababu tumetenga wakati muhimu kuja kujadili maneno kama haya. Wakati waziri ameitwa anakosa kuja, tunaweza mtetea, lakini hiyo si haki kwetu na si vizuri kwetu. Kama Senator Mondega anavyoongea, kama anajua pesa ya Embu imechelewa kwa muda ya miezi 2-3, angejua leo kama yeye mwenyewe anajali masirai ya watu wa Embu, sio kutetea mwenye hakuja kujibu maswali. Hiyo ni kusema ya kwamba hata yanaridhika na hali ilivyo katika kaunti zetu zote 47. Kwa hivyo ningesema ya kwamba sisi pia tusiende chini kwamba sisi tutakuwa tu tunakaa chini kama watu hawana kazi. Tukiita mtu na aji, tuwe na sheria ambayo itakuwa inamfanya awajibike kwa maneno ambayo amefanya. Kwa muda kumekuwa na madharau ya mbunge ya seneti na wale ambao wameteuliwa kutoka mbunge la kitaifa. Na mimi nadhani ya kwamba huo ukosefu wa adabu hautachukuliwa kupelekwa katika na mawaziri kuja kutudharau wakati tunaita kuja katika nyumba ya seneti. Niyo tu Mstahiki Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Murango and all those who have expressed their dissatisfaction. From where I sit, no, the time is over, the 15 minutes. Onda, Senator Kavindu, onda, Senator Kavindu. I was saying that it is not in order from where I sit to receive a letter and actually communicated that all the CSs are indicated. None of them had expressed that they will not come to this session this morning. But it's not in order to just receive a communication from the CS when the session is on. And therefore, senators, we cannot be lamenting every day in, day out. I would like to have a bipartisan manner in this issue so that both sides can revoke standing order 51D, which says that the Senate may, where a cabinet secretary fails without reasonable cause to appear and respond to questions on this part, move a motion to censure the cabinet secretary. So we should not be just weeping, crying, and we have our explicit authority under 51D. Therefore, I think we should take that direction. In the last session also, of all the cabinet secretaries, let me also say that it's only one cabinet secretary who has let this house down. I want to disagree with those who said cabinet secretaries don't appear. But the CS Treasury, even last session, did not appear to answer questions. Therefore, this time around, I would really request that both sides, you sit and agree on the way forward on this matter. This house belongs to all of us, not to one side of the divide. Therefore, on these things, such matters, let us approach these matters in a bipartisan way so that we can move our house forward. We have no other Senate in this republic. We are the elected 67 senators who are in this house. So if we fail, all of us will fail. If we succeed, all of us will have succeeded. Therefore, now I request the Senator at Arms to bring in the CS for labor and social protection.